Hey, cheers guys. So I'm just going to do this series. I'm joined here with my buddy Rachel, and we're going to talk all about her and all the things that we're doing. So you guys sit tight, and welcome to the first ever episode of Creative Cocktails. All right.
Cool. Well, cheers.
Yeah, cheers, bud.
Thanks for inviting me out for this.
Absolutely. So thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
The whole idea behind this is to just really talk to local Western North Carolina photographers, artists, and so on. I've got you're the very first one, so
Yeah.
I very much so appreciate that.
Of course.
But introduce yourself to me and the camera.
Yeah. So I'm Rachel. Obviously, you've met me. I'm coming up on like 1 year having moved to Asheville, which is really cool.
Very cool.
I'm from Los Angeles, that area, the Beach City area.
Right.
So I've been doing photography since I was, I aged myself a bit here right now, since high school. So that was my first ever photography class, was junior year of high school. Got to do a film class and became obsessed right away.
Right on.
And so I kind of always brought photography into my work, but I was very realistic in probably too much in understanding what I would need to do to be successful, and that photography would be like a massive hustle to do.
I mean, like as moving into a business
as like a 16, also like a
hobby.
16-year-old being like, I would like to be a fashion photographer for like the cover of Harper's Bazaar, whatever. So I just kind of figured out a way to take that with me always,
Sure.
and that's kind of how I got into brand development and working with small brands and startups. So I could do their photography, but I could also help build their website, help build their social, and kind of do all that. So that's
Sure.
what I've been doing for like 15 years
And
or
that's
so
the
now.
RLC Creative side of things.
That, yes, and also like I've worked full time for a lot of people. Like I do still right now. I work full time for a brand called Grounds and Hounds Coffee, and
Cool.
last year, so I worked there for 5 years. About last year, I took over for the CEO and founder, and so I
Wow,
run the
okay.
brand. I run the whole company.
All right.
Yeah, so it's kind of a lot, but I do get to do a lot of creative stuff with it too, where I'm doing a lot of the content creation,
Sure.
designing out products, and all that kind of stuff. But also budgeting and things I hate.
All the not fun stuff.
I actually kind of have a weird brain. Like I have a kind of a split brain where I'm like half creative, half kind of mathematical. So
Yeah.
it actually fits pretty well for me, but I wish there was more
You know what's wild
creative.
is that, like, I mean, you and I met during the 50 and 24 project.
Yeah.
And, I told you, I'm a creative director now.
Yeah.
I'm also the marketing manager of the company that I work for. So very much in the same way. I worked for agencies in the past, large and boutique ones. I have a team now that's awesome. But the thing that you and I have very much so in common from that statement is the fact that, like, I am very much so split-brained. I guess there's the only way to say it is I have to have a creative outlet, but I'm pretty good with math.
Yeah.
So it's like working in spreadsheets and Excel and all that kind of stuff isn't fun, really.
Yeah.
But when you find, to me, this is going to be nerdy as hell, so you guys just pay attention. So when I find efficiencies in the business that hey, if we did this way, I could save $1 million, like that.
Doesn't it feel great?
That feels really good.
I know.
And it's really cool. So I don't mind being in the actuarial science of it all. But I mean, that's just what it is. But I have to have my creativity.
Yeah. I think I like stifled that for a really long time, actually, because I was trying so hard to I knew there was this path like within this side of it, like e-com and brand building and whatnot, that I could be like, I could see success with that for sure, like like financially and all that. But I pushed away like the photo stuff because I was like, I can eventually do it, hopefully, kind of thing. And so, I mean, it's kind of where I've gotten to now, where it's like, there's a good balance, but I definitely feel you on the nerdy side of spreadsheets and budgeting. And I've worked with startups a ton. So it's like, for me, I'm like, I think budget all the time, like efficiency. What can we do with no budget? Like, can we get a model to do the shoot for free?
Sure.
And no equipment out in the street somewhere, like whatever we got to do to get some content going for the website or social or whatever. And so, it's kind of a what's a like scrappy way of doing things, but I kind of like it. You
but
know,
it's really essential too, right? Because you can't sell something without images of it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are using AI to develop some things.
Yeah.
Whatever that, in whatever capacity they're using it. I'm not a big fan, but I'm also not a huge hater either.
Yeah.
But like, before it was just like 3D composites, and let's do some, environmental design, 3D environmental design,
Yeah.
and place our products in it. And there are whole companies and an entire industry that's based around that.
Yeah.
But if you're a small brand, large brand, whatever, you got to create a campaign.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just a big part of it. It's
Yeah.
got to fit your aesthetic. It's got to, speak to your consumer, like your target audience.
Yeah.
It's got to speak to that.
Yeah.
In the style and everything else. But you're in the place now to where you're still running this company and you're trying to bring the photography to full time, or like where are you with that?
So yes, that is kind of where I've been. It's kind of one of those things where it's been a very interesting mind frame lately, where I'm like kind of figuring out what is actually going to like fulfill me, what's going to make me happy.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I bought my first house. I feel the success of things, and I'm like, all right, I need the things that actually make me happy, and it's like photography is one of those. And so after the hurricane, honestly, is like where it kind of just like really spiraled in a lot of ways, in a positive way, because I was like, okay, how can I help the community? But it's like, of course, I did volunteering. I went and handed out meals, delivered meals, did all that stuff, and I was like, okay, like anyone can do this if you have a car. I felt like there's a way that I can do this, but it's more specialized to what I can offer that not everyone else can. And so I started finding like different local businesses, and it started first with the Discover Asheville page.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't remember, well, okay, rewind, and I actually did a campaign for Brother Wolf Rescue, which is here, with my company that I work full time for, and raising funds for them because they obviously like lost their whole facility and everything after the hurricane. And so after that, I had tagged Discover Asheville in my reel that I created for that, and she reached out to me personally and was like, can I use some of your footage? It's great, because I was out there. I was like, I went into their facility and like took my phone and was like, I got some gnarly footage from that day. And then her and I were like, she was like, I want to do a fundraiser of some sort to like raise funds for these other local businesses that need help, that can't afford advertising and all this stuff. And so she was like, I want to design a shirt. And I was like, well, how intense of a design are we talking here? Like, what, tell me what you're thinking. And so she like sent me a little idea, and I was like, I could do that for you, like easily. Let's do it. And I like made her a shirt within like 3 hours, that day. And I built her a website that day too. And we got it kind of launched and going. And so then I was like, okay, this is cool. Like this feels good,
it's locally impactful.
Yeah. And then it was like just kind of started, going from there quickly, where I just started meeting more people. Then I met, I think it was right after that, I met Ryan from Asheville-ish, and I was just going to support his business, and I was like, you don't have a website, bro. Like, you don't know what's going on here. And he was like, I know, I just started this. I need help. And I was like, well, this is my specialty, and I would love to help you, And so we became friends super quick, and did like photo shoots, built his website. And so it was just kind of cool. Like, I was like, it felt really naturally like I had a space here in this town to offer something unique and something valuable, And so that's kind of where it started to go. And I was like, I like doing this, and I want to keep doing it more and more.
So do you see yourself like, I mean, we'll take it back to photography, for the photography side for just a second, because I mean, like, I really feel you on that. Like, everybody has a special thing that they can do that not a lot of other people can do.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like the business side and the brand development and everything.
Yeah.
As far as photography goes, like, it's accessible to pretty much anybody with a phone. And yes, I am saying that there are iPhone photographers out there that can blow you out of the water.
Oh, heck yeah.
Just amazing stuff.
You have to like come to terms with that if you're going to be in reality,
It's like, there's that stuff, but it's way beyond like taking a selfie with it vertically. Like, you need to understand light, you need to understand a lot of things, whether it's natural light or strobe or whatever else. But of all of the photography work that you've done, what brings you the most enjoy, and
Yeah.
don't say all of it.
No,
Like,
I can tell you for sure because there's some that I absolutely despise too that I've done a lot of. But I will say like it's the fashion editorial type stuff that it goes back to just my like 18-year-old self that was like, I want to be a fashion photographer and I want to do that all the time. And it's kind of where I was saying like I'm having these moments of really reflecting on that as a kid. You know, it feels like being like, oh, this has still always been that like path and desire for myself to do that, you know? And so, yeah, that's kind of where I was going is like, that's where working with Ash Velish and a couple other local brands, shooting fashion and just like really fun stuff, you know, it feels the best to me. And it always kind of also resonates with humans. I love photographing people.
Oh, sure.
So, you know, fashion can relate into like e-com and studio stuff or not even just studio stuff, but like e-commerce style lookbook
catalog
shop. Yeah, and that's like that's okay. That's my like work, but just those fun shoots where you're like, we're just gonna go for it and let's see what happens, you know.
Let the environment tell us what to do.
Yeah,
like, that's so fun.
Yeah.
To do those things, and you know, I think it'd be really fun. You're talking to your 18-year-old self here about seeing yourself as the type of person that I want. This is what I really want. This is what I really want to go after.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be really cool to create like an op-ed almost with Ryan or with somebody else and just say, hey, put Ash Velish in Harper's Bazaar or in Vogue or something like that, so that, to bring awareness to what happened here. I mean, obviously we are in a crazy and whirlwind shitstorm environment right now with everything going on, but that would be really cool. So, like, just submit it anyway and see what happens. That would be so rad.
No,
right?
you know, it's so funny. So, for my full-time work, this just happened as like a coincidence the other day. I'm doing another fundraiser for actually the fires in LA for work, and this reporter reached out to me to do a piece on it for I can't remember the article online, but regardless, then I went to her Instagram because it was through Instagram, and then I kind of went back to her page, and then I saw that she's also like a reporter for Harper's Bazaar, and then I was like,
hey,
all right, let's go. And then I was like, I started following like the main, like the chief editor of Harper's Bazaar, because I don't know why that magazine for sure always comes to mind for me as like goals, just goals.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, it has some like edge to it. It's artistic. It's like done. I don't know, like even the Kendrick Lamar shoot that they did, probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, I was just like, I'm done. I love this. I just can't handle it, you know, because it's just like funky and it doesn't relate to everybody. Yeah. Some people might look at it and be like, I hate that, and I'm like, that's cool.
I mean, that's what art's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Art's supposed to do a couple of things, right? It's supposed to like either, you know, tell current events or speak opinions of current events, or just blow people's minds in some other weird ass way. Like, why did a banana with duct tape sell for millions of dollars? Whereas some of the most amazing photography that I've ever seen is by like people with an Instagram following of like 100 people.
I know.
It's really difficult to continue the motivation and keep creating all the time. And like we were talking the other day about that motivation that I have to create something every day, even if it's a doodle, like whatever, it's something, or explore a concept for a minute to just do this.
Mood board, something like that.
I do that every day at lunch, you know, while I'm eating lunch, I'll sketch something out or whatever else, just to be like, okay, now if anybody approaches to do some work, I'm like, I've got a bunch of ideas, and I've got them somewhat planned out. But what motivates you to do the photography?
You know, I know. So it's so interesting. I just love so much of the like actual components of photography. So it's like, I joke about this all the time that I need a tattoo that says something like "I love light" or something, because lighting it to me is just, I just can't. I can tell it's happening even right now. Like I'm being like lit from the window, and I see it all the time. You know, and I just love it. And but in terms of like creating art specifically, I guess it's like definitely like an emotional thing for me. Like I can feel in my like waves of life when I'm like I'm not in a create zone, you know, or if something happens, I mean, something happens in life, you know, or it's like, it's such a good outlet for me in terms of like photography I try to do, but it's even just like I love like painting and drawing and a lot of other mediums too, and I tend to just really like lean into whatever feels the best at the time, but it's definitely like emotionally driven most of the time, like if whatever's going on, you know, and it's like when I know I'm not inspired to do it, I'm like something's coming soon, or something's off, you know, or it's like, okay, let's get a little excitement going or something, because it's some of the hardest times in my life. I think I've done some like the best work ever. You know,
I find that about myself. I find that like it's a way of processing pain into something that's. I mean, pain ultimately is a gift in some ways, because I mean, you really feel what life is like and the reasons why we have it. The threat of losing it, or losing loved ones or friends or whatever else, like that is incredibly painful, going through a breakup or whatever else. But the process of getting through that is not only understanding how to birth positive thoughts out of that, or positive action out of that, it's how to turn that situation into something that you feel is a beautiful process, if not even a beautiful process, just a beautiful thing. That's what I've found anyway. Like, and that's why I continue to keep doing it, no matter what's going on. I feel way less inspired to create new things when I'm feeling good.
I know. I do. That's what I mean. I'm like, let's throw a little like wrench in the mix here. Sometimes I'm like, I can really, do something crazy and just make myself feel inspired or something. Make a bad decision. Maybe, I don't know, something, because it's true.
I know that you've got. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of tumultuous things that have happened around here in the last few months. Like 4.5 months ago was a hurricane. Before that, other things. But now in the current, we have a lot of other things going on in our environment. So inspiration is everywhere for art right now.
I think it's going to be around for a while, and maybe for the rest of our lives. You know, it's like it's really intense. I feel the same way.
I just mean that inspiration is everywhere right now. Like, for sure. Like, I mean, there's so many things that are happening that would evoke inspiration to do something, to be involved, to create statement pieces of yourself, for others. Whether it's a small brand or whether it's an individual, that doesn't matter. But I know you found success in the branding side of things, and then you've found recent success in working with Ryan and some others and doing these other kind of things. But tell me about, like, what's the most challenging thing that has, like, presented itself to you in photography? Like, I'm not going to go that deep. But,
I was like, wait, let's reel it in here. No, I guess, like, coming from, in terms of challenges, the financial piece is just like been like the biggest one, and it's like I'm sure everyone can relate to that in some way. There's like, having grown up in Los Angeles, it's like just insane, and it was like just, I mean, now granted, again, I was 18, or not even 18, I think I was actually like 20, it was after college, so 22 or something like that. Moved back to LA to start working in fashion, hopefully, and like, my first job, I think I made $10 an hour, like in Los Angeles. You couldn't even then, which was however many years ago, like 13 years ago.
That's pulling with friends in a house in like a cardboard box, basically.
And it was like, and I'm very much like I love collaborating, but I'm also very much like I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to like do this. So it's like, even for my first house, I was like, I want to have like a studio myself. Like, I don't know, I want to do it, and so that's been like, I'd say like vaguely the biggest challenge, and just like kind of know, this is like, it feels like not doable, at least there. And I didn't want to live anywhere else then, so it was like, all right, I got to figure out a way to make this work. So that's kind of where I went in like the different directions and tried to like still incorporate it. But, and then that kind of turned to not sacrificing like what I like love for just the sake of money. So this is kind of goes into like this like failure piece that I was going to tell you about.
Sure.
Was that I went to college in Las Vegas, and which was great. I had a fun time there, but of course, when you think of Vegas, weddings, and so I learned to shoot weddings when I lived there, and I was in college, and it was actually a really cool experience because I was, 20 years old, getting offered like this position to work shooting weddings on my own, and I was like, I thought I was gonna assist people or something like that, but I was like, they're like, no, we're gonna show you how to do it, and you're gonna do it, and I was like, okay, and so every casino on the Strip, have you
I've been to Vegas.
Okay, just double check. Every casino on the Strip has like the chapel vibe, but also has weddings out at the pool, and it's actually like not as disturbing of like an idea.
Off the Strip is completely different.
But even on the Strip, some of the nicer hotels, like I don't know, like Mandalay Bay or whatever, like they have some nice options for weddings. Obviously, I would never do that as my choice forever if I got married. But when you're talking about shooting weddings, it's like I'm not just shooting just these like shotgun, really quick, like silly weddings. Although there were a ton of those as well. But I had my first ever wedding that I was getting prepared to shoot, and I didn't know that day that I was going to have to shoot. I was still training, and so I was being trained at Treasure Island Casino, which is even better of a story. And the girl that I was working with that day, she was not friendly and not a nice person and did not like me for whatever reason, and it was just rough. And so she was like, "You ready to shoot your first wedding today?" And I was like, "No, I'm not ready. And she was like, "Well, you're gonna do it." And I was like, I don't do well with that. That type either, like the pressure. Yeah, like this pressure. This
you can scoot this way,
beaming on me right now. And so
I'm gonna scoot this. Hey guys, you're gonna have to if you're still here.
Yeah.
All right, we're good.
So anyways, she was like, "No, you're gonna do it." And I was like, "Fuck, okay." So it was like I had to shoot this wedding in kind of like what you would imagine a stereotypical chapel, type setting. It was okay. It was not like gross or anything like that. But then the cool part about this one location was that they had a studio too.
Right.
So it was like after you shoot their wedding, you can take them into the studio and do
like headshots,
serious portraits, like that. But you could do whatever you wanted, like have fun with it. I shot the ceremony, shot like group photos, did all that, was fine. Scared out of my fucking mind, like, because I'm like, I have this person's wedding like on my like in my hands, and I can't mess it up, and it just felt like a lot of pressure. And
because it is
transparently it is, and I'm like 20. I always still think about that too, where I'm just so young and never shot one wedding before in my life. And we go to the studio, we shoot everything, and it was like good. And it was like, granted, I was with them for probably 45 minutes tops. So it was like, and I had never met them before. So it was like, meet you, shoot your wedding, shoot your family, and then go shoot you guys in the studio. And it was like back. So I like go, and I was like, I'm done. I felt good about it. I go to push like review on my camera, and the first shots I see are in the studio, and I was so nervous. I didn't even check my camera going from the chapel to the studio. And I looked in the camera, back of the camera, and everything in the studio was so blown out because it was on the settings from.
Oh no!
I literally almost threw up immediately.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it ended up being okay. We ended up being able to get them and like reshoot the studio stuff because that was stuff that needed it, and they didn't really care that much because they had a 30-minute wedding at Treasure Island, so they weren't really too worried about it. But I was like, I said to that girl, I was like, I fucking told you I was not ready. Like, I was too nervous and I was not prepared, and like it was just kind of one of those learning experiences where I was like, you gotta just like vouch for yourself if you really like feel not ready for something, or like, I don't know, just stick up for yourself. And also don't shoot weddings if you don't like them.
Well, yeah.
So that was a big, because I'm not kidding, I've shot over 900 weddings.
No. Well, congratulations, because
No,
no,
I don't need that.
I've shot exactly one, and I will
Oh,
never
yeah.
shoot another wedding. Even though I love you guys,
I will
you
say
guys
too.
are watching.
I will say, I don't mind them for a couple of reasons. And one is that if they're at like a really cool trend to a wedding, I'm into it because I'm like, this is funky. They're into like some artsy stuff. Like I can like go with it, and you can tell how their style of their dresses are. They're like, if they're gonna have a fun time shooting or not. And so that part I can like look forward to. And I do kind of like shooting weddings where I can like stand in the back and like not talk to anybody but like do stuff,
Yeah.
and that part's cool. But I got sucked into that for years where I was like, I just saw the money and the ease.
To be honest, that's where it is. That's where a lot of the money in photography is. There are a couple of people that I know that are here in town that they don't do the big weddings. They only do elopements. They only do engagement things or whatever. They don't shoot the actual big to-do because that's their aesthetic. I know what mine is. I've found that over the years, and it's definitely not a wedding. But I totally respect people that can do that. Like, I just don't have the personality for it. There's no way.
That's, I'd say, I know one of the things, I think with having shot so many weddings and having to just, like, literally meet people, like I said, meet people immediately and photograph them in one of the most, like, important and sometimes intimate type settings that they'll ever have. And it was, like, it made me really be able to, like, read a person right away, see how comfortable they're going to be, try to accommodate, like if they're not, or especially like, you just get it. Some guys are like, I don't want to, I'm not into this, and it's like, okay, I'm like, take it easy on you, and like, well, let's focus on this, or we're going to just do all candid stuff. So don't worry, like, don't even pay attention to me, or just interact together. And it like definitely created this like ability to make people feel, I think, pretty like comfortable when I shoot them. So it's kind of one of the cool skills.
One of the perks of it.
That came from it.
So now that you've like overcome that side of things, the financial side of, it's still a thing because gear is really expensive, and setting your rates or whatever in accordance with paying yourself back or not, just saying like, I shot 53 sessions last year. I spent like almost $15,000 in gear. And it's like, I'm not going to see that. I'm never, because it's not my MO. Like, I don't want this to be my main thing. But other people do, and they can't do that. Like, or don't want to make the sacrifice to make that happen. So, what do you see for yourself in the immediate future versus like maybe a year from now?
My main thought on it is kind of similar to you. It's like where I'm more just doing it now because I love it so much, and it's not necessarily something that I think is gonna, or that I'm hoping. I guess we all hope that something could turn into something, of course. But I'm not. I just like love it so much that it creates this like really good balance for me right now. Where working a lot, doing the things, but then I have these really like fun elements to my life that really work for me. And so I think like that's kind of how I feel about it now. And then just kind of like what happens, it's like I know better than to even really know what
or to expect something.
Never expecting for sure. And it's like ideally I'd love to just kind of start something, and I still don't really know exactly what it is. But I keep telling some of my friends that are close to me, I'm like, it's like right on the tip of like what I am envisioning something happening, and I don't know yet.
Well, don't spoil it.
I won't.
Don't tell.
Because I don't even know what it is.
Don't tell the 2 people that watch this video.
There'll be at least 5, I'm sure.
At least 5. At least 5. So I've got 12 subscribers on this channel, and I haven't even done anything. The whole idea is like I said, just let people know about you, what you're doing, what's coming up, that kind of stuff. So, just for the next minute or so, just. You can talk to the camera or just talk to me. What do you got going on? What do you want to have happen? And I'm going to put all the stuff in the description and all that, like where to find you and stuff.
Yeah.
But tell them.
Yeah, so my goal is to just continue to connect with the community.
Yeah.
And that's my main thing. I feel very drawn to being very present here, specifically in Asheville, and I feel like it just becomes overly evident every day that goes on, whether it's doing this with you and or connecting with another person and doing something else with them, or connecting with the Beauty Boost group of females, that there's all these people working in the community, and it's it just feels so natural. So that's my main goal, just keep connecting with local businesses. Probably, I'd love to continue helping local businesses,
sure,
whether it's with photography or, any kind of branding help. But yeah, that's it. I just want to make it my home fully and be we know Rachel, let's go get Rachel. She's got you.
We now own your home here.
Yeah, so I gotta be here.
So you are definitely here for a bit.
Yeah.
And guys, if you are watching this and you need somebody in the branding or photography or whatever, make sure to check out in the comments below or the description below, and I'll link up all the information there. And I should have already put it on the screen. Not sure if I did that yet, so you can just keep me accountable. But this has been the first episode of Creative Cocktails. So Rachel, thank you so much for being part of it.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
it.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.